And I think that'll make a much better world. You're shaping people and saying, go and find yourself, try this, find this, trial that. It's a beautiful message you're giving, and I would have happily read that chapter because 2 chapters in, I'm buying your other book. That's how good you are. And I know
Well,
we've
now you
only
know a guy. Now you know a guy, so I'll just ship him to you. So no worries.
well, I'm struggling not to go into my own personal stuff, and so we've got to do a round two. But what would you want people to take from this? What would you want them as a summary, a way to use your book? If they came to you in 6 weeks, if they phoned you up and said, "I read your book," what would you want them to hear or to say? What do you want them to take from this episode?
Wow. That you're worth something different. That you're worth going to bed at night because you're tired
Mm.
without a bunch of meds. That you're worth getting up and having coffee in the morning because you like it, not because you have to. That you're worth a boss that doesn't abuse you, and you're worth you deciding what you do tomorrow, not your vehicle lending bank. You're worth a marriage and a relationship with your significant other that brings you more laughter and warmth than it does stress. And you're worth a relationship with your kids where they don't just walk in the house and slam the door in the bedroom and bury their face in a screen. Um, and you're worth getting up and doing really hard stuff.
Yeah.
You're worth you're worth being the man that we all need in this culture, both now and in the future. And that means getting up and doing hard things, real hard things, putting yourself in really challenging situations so you can grow. It also means asking yourself, why am I doing this and for who? And plugging in with your spouse, plugging in with your friends, plugging in with your community, being a teammate and a tribe member worth um, laying down your life for. And so it's all of it, right? It's all of it. But it ultimately comes down to, dude, you're worth that. And none of us got that message. You're worth that. Let's start there.
What happens if you have somebody? Because I had this when I was just starting the podcast. Somebody said to me they had committed a crime. They wouldn't say what it was, but they felt worthless. They felt like, oh, what's the point? And I remember saying, try, do this. Was it volunteered? Go and do this, etc. And I interviewed a couple of amazing people, and one of the quotes was, "Don't tell me what's you're happy to admit. Tell me what keeps you awake at night that you're terrified to admit." How would you deal with somebody like a guy coming and saying to you, "I was in jail. I was this. I was that." Because like the nomadic paddler I interviewed, he said people feel that when you go to jail, you're a prisoner and that's it. You can't change. You become a number. It's like a self
Mm.
fulfilling prophecy. You're going to just commit crime after crime and go back in. How do we start changing people to believe that no matter how bad it was, you have a future, you have a role to play in society? Have you come across guys that struggle with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, all of us do, man. And it might be a crime. It might be the way we treated somebody when we were 12.
Hmm.
I'm still haunted by an interaction I had in a middle school cafeteria where a young girl poured her heart out to me. And dude, if I could go back and have that back, you know what I mean? And that's just one of a long line. That's not a crime. Still haunts me.
Hmm.
Still haunts me. And so, because I've got some voices in my head that I heard when I was 12 that are still rattling around, right? And so, I think you have to pull your headphones out, to be honest with you, because we live in a culture that is so disempowering. You are the worst thing you've ever done. That's who you are. Or you're the worst thing that ever happened to you. You were sexually abused.